Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Thursday, January 29th, 2026. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The three opposition members of Parliament were sworn in today ahead of the presentation of the 2026 budget estimates. The first to take the oath was Opposition Leader and Member of Parliament for North Central Wynwood, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. He was followed by two opposition senators, Carlos James and Kisal Peters, who were sworn in today as they had not been present for the ceremonial sitting of Parliament on December 23, 2025, when all government members took their oaths. The swearing-in ensures that the opposition is fully represented in Parliament as the government prepares to present its budget for the upcoming fiscal year. It also restores the full complement of parliamentary voices, allowing for proper debate and oversight of national policies and spending priorities. This development comes at a critical time as discussions on public spending, economic priorities, and social platforms are set to dominate parliamentary proceedings in 2026. The $1.8 billion budget estimates for 2026 were presented in Parliament today by Prime Minister and Finance Minister Dr. Godwin Friday. This represents a 2% increase over the previous year. The Prime Minister outlined that the recurrent expenditures, amortization, and sinking fund contributions will be financed through current revenue and capital receipts.
Recurrent expenditure inclusive of amortization and sinking fund contributions, $1,308,319,855. That's a recurrent expenditure, Madam Speaker. The capital expenditure is $577,290,110. We're doing in some reform here, Madam Speaker. Financing the 2026 budget is expected to come from current revenue of $906,875,230, and from capital receipts totaling $978,734,735.
With the new ministry portfolios in place, several new positions were created across various ministries, with a majority allocated to the Ministry of National Security, reflecting a government's priority on safety and national security. These additions aim to strengthen law enforcement, disaster preparedness, and overall public protection.
Positions have been created in the Ministry of National Security, Disaster Management and Immigration. The majority of these, 42, have been added to the workforce of the police services to assist in increasing the level of security and safety in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Madam Speaker, one of the things that our people all over this country, yes, so we see that in the Ministry of National Security, we have 42 positions added to the police services. And as I said, it is partly a reflection, Madam Speaker, of the urgency that many of our citizens have placed on dealing with the serious situation with respect to crimes, especially violent and gun-related crimes. Homicide.
New positions were also established within the judiciary to enhance the efficiency and capacity of the legal system. This move is intended to reduce case backlogs, improve access to justice, and support judicial reforms underway in the country.
11 new positions have been created under the autonomous departments. And, for example, the Registry and the High Court was credited with 2 judicial research assistants. And these are important positions because these persons will assist the judges in the work that they do in preparation of judgments and so forth. Very much needed to assist our hard-working judiciary. There are 2 vault assistants also, while the magistracy has benefited from the addition of 1 junior clerk position. 2 new posts of registrar and deputy registrar were placed under the Intellectual Property Unit of the Commerce and Intellectual Property Office. And this is to strengthen the human resource capacity of that department.
Meanwhile, it was announced that public debt now stands at $3.5 billion. Dr. Friday emphasized that debt management will remain a central focus of the fiscal policy, balancing the need for development spending with sustainable financial practices. The 2026 budget also includes allocations for infrastructure developments, healthcare, education, and social programs, signaling a continued investment in national growth while addressing emerging challenges in security and governance. The government stressed that careful monitoring and efficient execution of budgetary provisions will be critical to achieving these goals. Opposition leader Dr. Afghan Salves has criticized the $1.8 billion 2026 budget estimates, saying they provide little clarity on how the budget will be financed and project minimal economic growth for the year. He noted that while some government programs have been continued, others have not, and he described much of the budget as containing more words than substance.
We have had some worthy continuity. In some cases, there's retreat and stasis in others, and a number of little bits and pieces with doubtful funding. The estimates are unsuited to these perilous times, and little or no economic growth could be expected from these estimates. There are several things to address, those which were wrongly omitted and those which were erroneously put in. And we got a lot of words. We didn't get a lot of arithmetic. Arithmetic does not wait for applause. Arithmetic is relentless. Arithmetic is attached to you permanently like a devoted spouse.
Dr. Gonzalez also expressed concern over the budget deficit, which he described as a worrying trend for the current NDP government. He cautioned that without careful fiscal management, the deficit could place additional strain on public finances, limit development opportunities, and increase the burden on future taxpayers.
There is a budget deficit of $105.5 million. That's a headline number. What's the story for the last 4 budgets? In 2002, the deficit was $49.5 million. 2022, 23 is 10.3. 24, 24.6. In 2025, 5.5. These numbers cover periods of immense dislocation through following COVID, volcanic eruptions, Hurricane Elsa, global turmoil, and Beryl. But all those years together, the deficit on the current account doesn't amount to the deficit for the first NDP budget.
He He further called for greater transparency in government spending and urged the administration to provide clear strategies for stimulating economic growth, reducing public debt, and ensuring that national resources are used efficiently to benefit all Vincentians. The opposition leader emphasized the importance of long-term planning and accountability in ensuring the country's financial stability. Meanwhile, in their contributions to the 2026 budget estimates, Minister of Fisheries Israel Bruce and Minister of Higher Education and Grenadines Affairs Terence Oliver expressed satisfaction with the allocations to their respective ministries. They said the funding puts them in a better position to deliver services and programs to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
We have put more resource into agriculture proper than the previous administration did, which is consistent with our argument that agriculture will play a critical role in the economic development of this country. And, Madam Speaker, I know that it was and will continue to be said that expenditures in the sectors under the 2025 estimate were placed in other line ministries. It was correct then, and it is equally correct now.
You know, when I opened the estimates, I saw initiatives that I have been clamoring for a long time. I mean, since 2001 I came to this house. I've been asking for improvement of the Canouan jetty especially, and then port development. And in this estimates today, there is an allocation of over $2 million to construct a wharf or a jetty on the island of Canouan. And I say to the people of the island, Liberation Day has come. And I am glad that for over 20 plus years, that I am the one now here on this side of this house to make sure that the people of the Grenadines get what they duly deserve.
Former Minister of Finance Camilla Gonsalves, speaking on radio yesterday, outlined what he described as a number of major projects and priorities of the then Unity Labour Party ULP administration that have either been cancelled or have not been mentioned for implementation in the current year. According to Gonsalves, these projects include the planned development of the new city at Arnisvale, the establishment of cultural development hubs, and the construction of the Marriott Hotel at Moultwin.
They've taken all the money out of the development of the tarmac as a new city. You see the cultural, education, and scientific hubs that were going to be at Bellevue and Trumaka, and there was a third one, Petit Bodel, where you're going to have areas to learn music production, art, painting, band rooms, and all the rest of it.
Technical stuff too in information technology.
Yes, all of that is done. That is cancelled. You see the Marriott Hotel at Moultwin? Forget about that. That is gone. You see the Hall of Justice and the Parliament that were to be built right outside here at Beachmont, those are gone. You see the National Science Laboratory.
Science and Technology.
Science and Technology Laboratory, which was supposed to be the catapult for our young students to learn, to be educated in the sciences and emerging sciences, artificial intelligence, yes, and all the rest of it. That is gone. That is cancelled. You see the Brighton Secondary School? Well, forget about that. They're gone. You see the Lives to Live program, where people used to get a little bathroom put onto their house, a little support if you're disabled, if you have a challenge, if you're elderly. Well, they're gone. You see the plan for the lights at the Sir Vincent Beach Stadium? They scrapped that. They will finish what they're building there now, but they're going to do a study for a master plan and all kind of thing. But even though that already existed, but they're scrapping those lights. But instead, they put in lights at the Port Elizabeth playing field. You see the Stubbs police station that needs some work? Well, forget about that this year. You see the Solidarity Fleet expansion, which was to get boats into the hands of fisher folk and training for fisher folk. Well, that done too.
Well, they take the fleet for the vessels out and put the fleet for the Prime Minister.
A different fleet.
Cars in. Different thing.
You see the fixing up of Little Tokyo? They're gone. So you just stay how you do.
The former finance minister said the cancellation or abandonment of these projects could result in large areas of land remaining underdeveloped. He cautioned that the public should remain vigilant and ensure that these lands are not transferred or allocated inappropriately, stressing the importance of transparency and accountability in national development planning.
The ways is, first let's talk real estate. Let's be like Donald Trump and talk about real estate. In cancelling the development for the tarmac, the new city, they have essentially said, we have a lot of land,
175 acres.
and we have no plan. And I want you to watch if they try to sell that land to friends and family. Get a friend and family discount. Because we remember when land used to sell in Beckwith for $1 square foot, beachfront land. So you have the tarmac, land with no plan. You have all the land in Beachmont, where we were supposed to build the Parliament and the Halls of Justice.
Halls of Justice.
Land with no plan. Again, prime real estate. I want you to look at the courthouse in the middle of town, the former Parliament building. Out of that budget that they cancelled for the courthouse and the Halls of Justice and the Parliament, we had money to fix up that historic building. Their plan, as announced by the Attorney General, is to turn that land into a parking lot for lawyers. But there is no money in the budget to fix up the historic building in the middle of town. Land with no plan. You have the old Huffles nightclub in Brighton, which was where the school was, the Brighton Secondary School was going to go. Well, the government has bought that. What are we going to do with it? Land with no plan. They've cancelled the Marriott Resort at Peter's Hope. That is 40-something acres of land there as well. Now that has no plan. And there are others that are slipping me at the moment because I don't have the book.
The one at Peter's Hope is Black Sands.
Black Sands. But it was to be the Marriott.
Yeah,
that's where we had changed the agreement.
Yes.
Well, Pediatrics wrapped up its first medical mission to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for 2026 last week, leaving many parents grateful. The surgeries were performed on children from SVG and other countries across the region. SVG-TV News spoke with a thankful father from Sion Hill who said that had it not been for the surgeries performed by World Pediatrics, it would have cost his family thousands of dollars to save the life of his 5-year-old son.
Thanks to the World Ped program, he was able to have his first surgery where they took out the stoma and the bad parts of the intestines. And now this year they actually pulled that back in with pull-through surgery, and now he was recovering. For the diagnosis, he was severely constipated, and then Dr. Ellis diagnosed him with that after testing and the results, and realized that's what he has, hash brown disease. It was scary, but now, just even watching him in the recovery, I know it's gonna get better. He is better, so I'm happy. And I'm happy for this program because, to tell you the truth, if you want to pay for these surgeries, you can't. You can't pay for these surgeries. So this is a blessing for parents all over who benefit from this.
Another parent from St. Kitts said she is now relieved after her child successfully underwent surgery for Hernsing-Scrung disease. Her child is currently receiving care in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Last year we found out about the disease, the way she had the stoma, and I was told that we would have to be back this year for the pull-through procedure. However, I wasn't certain about the whole procedure, but I got information, I did my own research, and I am happy that she can overcome it now, and I'm happy that it can be done, even if it's not at home, it can be done in St. Vincent because everybody is happy to help. She's doing quite well. She had a few hiccups, but she's getting there. So I would just like to thank the WPP program and the PALS program in St. Kitts for assisting us through this procedure and ensuring that everything is going well.
The general surgery mission was led by Dr. Jeffrey Lukesh, who explained the complexities involved in performing surgeries, particularly those related to chronic bowel disorders. He noted that children who undergo these life-saving procedures are able to grow up to become healthy adults.
We, on a mission, we cared for children with a deformity called pectus excavatum, a sunken chest deformity, where their chest grows in and it's not flat. That child followed up, and he's now corrected, and we had to remove the implant from his chest wall, which is a stainless steel bar and stabilizer plates. That's unique, where we've not done that operation before. We will be doing that more often in upcoming missions, because we have several now children that we've corrected their chest wall. I live fruitful, normal lives, especially the child with the kidney tumor. She would not have survived at all without the tumor being removed, and so that was certainly a life-saving measure for our team to be able to complete that successfully.
A total of 14 surgeries were carried out during the mission, with the support and participation of local doctors from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In other news now, despite ongoing challenges and modernization with the department, Customs continues to maintain its core responsibility of protecting the nation's borders. According to System Administrator Lorenzo Barber, speaking on this morning's Cop Chat program on WFM, which focused on the topic Customs Protecting Society through Vigilance and Commitment, Barber explained that while customs operations have evolved over the years, the department's fundamental mission remains unchanged. He noted that customs plays a critical role in safeguarding St. Vincent and the Grenadines against illegal activities, while also facilitating lawful trade and travel. Barber further emphasized that customs is one of the country's most important revenue collecting agencies and serves as a first line of defense for the nation.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are one of the most important revenue collectors for the government. And we are also the first agency that you meet at the borders, whether it be via sea or via air. So we have a responsibility to do a lot of agency duties for a lot of different ministries. Because let's say, for example, the Ministry of Health has a warning out on a particular item. The first line of defense is the Customs and Excise. Right? So we will do the necessary examinations. We will allow the persons at the ministry to come and do an inspection to see if that item is allowed or not. Mm-hmm. Right? So we have a great deal of responsibility when it comes to actually protecting St. Vincent, right? And we are committed to that.
He explained that revenue generated through customs is essential to national development, contributing to key public services and infrastructure projects. At the same time, he stressed that the department's broader border protection role is critical to maintaining national security. Barber added that the roles of customs officers should not be viewed differently from those of other public servants, noting that they also play a vital part in law enforcement.
The thing I tell persons is that we are a law enforcement organization, right? So whatever we do is based on legislation. If you want to see certain things change, especially, persons would complain about the amount of duties that they pay, right? You need to speak to your representative. You need to speak to the persons who make the laws. However, sometimes we are subject to forces outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mm-hmm. Now, some islands have lower rates than others, based on the fact that we have more developed countries, less developed countries. But these rates are set out by CARICOM, and all we do is simply implement them within St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? And that's the import duty side of things. And then local government might put an excise tax or additional taxes on items that they feel are required based on health risks. For example, aerated beverages, because they want to encourage more juices to be consumed. and deposit bottle levy, because they want to be able to control the amount of cans and bottles that come into the country, right, and find a way that we can recycle or dispose of them properly so that they do not become a health risk.
According to Baba, customs officers work closely with other security agencies to prevent smuggling, trafficking, and other illicit activities, underscoring the importance of recognizing their contribution to public safety. He also highlighted that public awareness, staff training, and effective use of technology remain among the main challenges facing customs operations today.
I think one of our greatest challenges are our customers. And I say that because sometimes customers are not knowledgeable about our roles, our responsibilities, and also their responsibilities when they come to the customs department. Now, we have been trying to fix that by having our website, the customs.gov.vc, and putting as much information about our procedures and legislation that we are tasked to enforce on there for persons to go on and read. Right. Another issue that we have is technology. Now, persons would say, okay, when I travel overseas, I, don't have to go through customs, I don't get my bags checked and that kind of thing, not realizing that they have a lot more non-intrusive means of examination than us, right? Now, we have been making efforts to acquire those equipment. So we have barrel scanners at the new port, at the Kingston port. We have a container scanner at the new port as well, right? So persons have been trained to use them, right? And we're going to implement those more so that we can continue to facilitate trade, right? At this point, though, there's still some gaps. We're not as far ahead as, like we say, for example, England, New York, Miami, right? So we're just asking persons to work along with us, right, as we move into new technologies, right, so that we can facilitate them better.
Baba concluded by reaffirming the importance of ongoing development within the Customs Department, stating that strengthening systems and human capacity will ensure customs remains effective in protecting borders, collecting revenue, and supporting national growth.